Oh, wow, you just threw it to us. All right, so everyone, welcome back to ESL T for the ESL 1 Battlefield 4 2014 Spring Group Stage. And we're underway with Group B coming up right now. Epsilon versus PyRo. This is going to be a good game here.
Oh,
and we were talking about outside. We're honestly hoping up for a stomp because these two teams, I mean, these are the cream of the crop of Group B that we're looking at.
Pretty much the top two teams here, and I am hoping for a good game. I'm hoping the PyRo didn't give it all in that game. There's still a little bit left there from them, and you know we can expect a bit of a different picture on the map we got coming up. The first map, I do believe, will be Zavod, which was PyRo's choice. So same as we saw last time around, bit of a different opponent this time. Epsilon, I'd say one of their stronger maps as well. I'm curious why they went for this, but you know, what do I know? And then it'll be Locker next, which will be the choice of Epsilon. So it's pretty much the same two maps. One very different team, should I say. I think we are just about ready to get into this.
I hope it's only one very different team.
Otherwise, whew, we've gone for a whole new different kind of thing. But PyRo will be starting on the Russian side, and Epsilon will be on the US side. And we are live into the game, and it'll be finding out who'll be walking away with that first position spot pretty much right here. And I've got to say, my thoughts, my predictions are going to be mostly with Epsilon in this one. Very strong map for them, very strong players. You're seeing Marzu on your screen right there. Let me just take you through these two very quickly. Epsilon are running with Asterix, Marzu, David, Duke, and Horek. PyRo, you just saw them, Melicium, Benny, Hexes, Flash, and Ikaho. So why don't you take us into what we're seeing so far?
Well, currently, we do see a 2-to-1 hold going to be in favor of the red side here for Epsilon. They were able to get the control of A. They're able to push into that fight. And one thing that we have to talk about for Epsilon, at least in my opinion, is there's strong fraggers on their team.
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean, we can talk about Mayak. I only bring him up once today. Obviously, talk about him and obviously his role in the team in the first season. But right now, the man to step up, the man to really do well lately, has got to be Duke and David. Like, Duke, he stepped up so hard for his team after Mayak was replaced with him. And he's done so well. And the two Ds on the team can just out-frag anyone, it seems like, these days. Like, they're the two big assassins right now. And we're seeing a tri-cat come in here, and we're seeing it reflected just in this game prior. And obviously, the latest results between these two teams are in favor of Epsilon. They won 2-0 in the last cup. So I'm with you on that one. Epsilon, definitely the favorable ones in this.
Yeah, and it was almost a trip cap, kind of. I told you a little bit early on that one, just because, well, to be fair, it's going to be now.
It happens eventually.
They kept the PyRo side back towards this kind of southern side of B, and it's forced them to pick up A. But it does mean that Epsilon will walk away with the ideal setup of that B and C hold, and they can be in a good enough position straight away to set up a nice bit of crossfire through mid, which we didn't see PyRo doing too much, and especially we didn't see Exacquo do that at all. So PyRo already looking back towards A, but it has let a couple of players slip through that underpass, so Flash is there, joined by Hexis around the side. That does mean Marzu could be in trouble here. He's spotted out one darting through, but will he expect the player from lower? And, well, he's going to have to soon. Flash did get found in the end anyway, but it's not a great, way to be running about this. But already A going back over towards Epsilon, and no quick move in towards C could be really costing PyRo a lot of tickets, considering there's a triple cap up against them.
They've only lost 4 tickets so far for Epsilon. Only 4. And you can see on the other side, almost 50 at this point, where we're seeing Horek. Well, he's trying to hold on. He will be taken out eventually, but he stalled so long, and it looks like the rest of Epsilon are winning out on C at the same time as, just to say that, David does get taken down. But it's going to be a 1-on-2, it looks like, and even up back to 1v1. But Epsilon, I mean, I wish we could have saw their game earlier on. They finished before our game did, so it was probably a much more one-sided 2-0 than what we saw. But they're looking damn strong here. 143 to 97 tickets already in the first 3 minutes of this game.
Yeah, but this could be the turning point. They have got great positioning on towards that C side, but they put everyone pretty much there. Actually, no, tell a lie. They did leave Flash out by A just to deny any quick, easy pickup off the back of that C push. But Horek is still around, so he might be waiting on a couple of respawns towards him if he fancies it. But actually, they're going to be spawning back out towards B, expecting the counter push across the map. And actually, they're right to be feeling so already. Hexis has got himself over towards this site. He gets stopped in his tracks, and it has allowed Horek to edge himself closer. He does have some support coming through, but they did get taken down. Duke and Asterix picking up the kills, making a couple of options viable for PyRo to get those respawns in towards C. To try and defend this one, and Ikaho is doing just that. Picks up Horek, but now here comes a slightly bigger push from Epsilon, putting players around that, but they're not breaking through as easily as they may have thought.
Yeah, we're seeing PyRo do exactly what they did last time when they were playing just prior against Exacquo, where they see where the men are coming, they see what the information, or they get the information, and they send all the respawns there. And they saw the C push when they had 3 men already down, and immediately spawn them in as quick as they possibly can and hold off the push. But in the meantime, you're seeing A capped over. We did see looks like Asterix be able to get there quick enough. And that's still 2-1 hold back in favor of Epsilon, though the lead that they had was cut down pretty well here.
Yeah, it's a substantial difference now, but that 2-1 will be changed. But look at this perfect play from Epsilon. Drew them away from C by challenging out on A. So they picked up A with 2 players, I believe, in the end. And they drew enough players across mid and looking immediately for the challenge in the holdback. Horik going down below and a couple of players up in mid. So Duke could be in trouble any second now. He does get picked up in the end. But I can imagine they'll be able to buy enough time to get the respawns back to whichever site the opposition of Pyrogen will be looking to hit up. Melicium has split over towards B, but he's going to have to take down Marzu, who's in a really good spot right there. Melicium does get found in the end, and the threat has been dealt with. Asterix and David did the work over here as well, so Hexus and Flash both going down. This BC hold looks very strong at the moment for Epsilon. They even have a couple of players pushed up a little bit further just to buy time so they can find out where Pyrogen will be focusing towards next.
Yeah, very true. And currently they're up ahead by 11 kills, if I can do my math correctly. That's actually quite a bit here in this game, especially on Zavad, where you need every single man possible, as we do have currently Ikaho going to be working through middle, trying to back his team up here. Just spot the one man going through lower. We'll pick up the kill. But will he be able to take B or C on in a 1v1 here? As this could be even a 1v1 breaking out A. He's going to charge in, and he will get the kill. So that should be C capped over. In the meantime, they will have to fight at A as well, so they're going to turn this around. They're going to get the 2-1 hold here. But the real question is now, how long can they hold it? Because they're down about 50 tickets yet again here. And Epsilon, they just seem to find the chink in the armor of Pyrogen every time and are able to just completely dominate them and take that 2-1 hold back. They pull them in different directions at the same time, and they completely collapse on a site and take it.
But I've got to give credit to Ikaho in that push then. He got himself around the back from A after the exchange, and he did the smart thing. He covered off the guy pushing himself back to try and defend C. He took him down, went straight towards the site. It gave them this 2-1 pretty much. But as you mentioned, those tickets are still quite low. It's a substantial difference from what we saw at the start. But still, Epsilon in a great position now to challenge out here. Duke going right around the back, pincering in the opposition. And these respawns are dangerous, but they paid off. Pyrogen fancying their chances in the straight-up one-on-ones. And they could walk away with a trip cap, even if it's for a couple of seconds. So very well played to them. And the brave kind of play there with the respawn straight in towards C actually paid out for a couple of seconds. And it may even up the scoreboard a little bit.
And you saw them catch, I believe that was Duke, if I'm not mistaken, the one that was charging in C, if I remember correctly. But
Yeah,
you saw the respawn come in, and he's kind of like, what do I do? I can't shoot him yet because he's invulnerable, but there's another guy there, and he eventually got taken down with that double respawn coming in. But they do go back. They do cap A here. They're regrouping. And so you see that 4-man squad pushing towards C here, and they're looking for the take. And right now, there's going to be one man over towards the north side of the map in middle watching for the rotates. And Duke, well, he will push straight in here. We'll start the cap over, but we'll be taken down right away here. The rest of the team is there. Everyone's funneling in for it. A's being capped, or back capped on because Epsilon's coming in every single person here, but they're losing out on this. You see there's only 2 men alive. Asterix, and it's going to be the second man, Horik. They do get control of C, but they lost on A. Like, we do see Pyrogen one step ahead of them every single time, and they cut that lead from about 50 down to only 20.
Yeah, but look at the amount of players that Pyrogen have been able to put towards that B hold. It's paid off to them because they've got the respawn in, but B was very vulnerable then because it was a 2v1 pretty much. So they could have lost out a little bit there, but Epsilon have got the eyes set towards A, it seems. They've got Horik in a good spot, Duke as well. Duke will be moving in. He's going to be challenged in the end by Flash in just a moment's time, but I'd say the weapon that I think Duke is running with a little bit better close range from the hip, but it doesn't matter. Flash makes it count. And at the meantime, Epsilon focusing the rest of their forces over towards that B flag cap, and they might just get away with it.
This is what we didn't see of exactly, though. You see Horik immediately, right when they cap B, run back to C. He realizes they're going to hit it. We got to get back there as quick as possible. Everyone's rotating. It's going to be a 4-on-2 push here. And right now, Benny will be taken down. This will be Pyrogen, I believe, getting shut down here. As we're seeing kills still coming left, right. Marsu coming in from the backside as well, looking for that kill. And he does actually get his teammate killed in the end from that one. We'll switch over the pistol. We'll pick that up, clean it up, and get the revives in. So they will hold on to the push. They will maintain the 2-1. And let's go back to overview. Actually, no, you're perfect. Right on the guy I wanted to see, David. He was waiting for anyone rotating through, and he's going to not unfortunately catch them, but he does get the information that there's going to be 1 or 2 there.
Yeah, and already there's the backup plan. Horik going straight in towards A. He knew where those players were. David spotting those guys out with Duke has allowed Horik enough information to know that, well, A's unguarded. So A will be pretty changed over with David respawning in. C still up for grabs. Marzu is the only player in here, finally joined by Hexus of the opposition to try and challenge this one out. But B is the bloodbath as Duke is just swinging his way around, just absolutely decimates Flash then on the side. Goes back in for the flag, spots out another. Doesn't get that kill, but his teammate will. And that will be a nice triple cap possible pickup here if Hexus does go down. He's the last man alive in the squad. Respawns will be flooding in for Pyrogen, and it's going to be having to go back towards A and maybe looking for a regroup towards the C challenge here.
You see what he just did as well? He backed away, Melicium, waited for some respawns. Like, he gave up C, realizing that he can't hold on to her, so you see that tri-cap come in. But he did that so they wouldn't have a random spawn. So they would actually have potential to take C back or hit A right away, and they're going to cap over A here in just a few seconds. But that was a very smart play by him. But right now, sitting on about 7 tickets to go against the 52 out of Epsilon, it's looking like they will drop this first half here. But, 50 tickets, it's not bad, but they didn't even have that big of a lead against Exacquio when PyRo played against them.
Yeah, it's... Epsilon playing very smart, as per usual. I don't think we can be too surprised by this. But PyRo are still scrapping this one out. They're in a good spot to at least walk away with B as well. So they could chip away a couple more tickets, but it seems as though a matter of time. Asterix has a complete free run towards A, and it was an all-in strat from PyRo there. They just tried to get as many bodies as they could towards the site and hope that it paid off. And it did to an extent, but it's not going to be that manageable as Asterix surely picks this one up. Any kill will give the game over here. So at least 40 tickets, I'd say, will be with the other side of Epsilon. 45 in the end is what they're running with. Let's check in with that scoreboard as well. Asterix 12-8, 15-14, Horex 16-10. Very one-sided there, but PyRo weren't too far away from that.
And there's one thing I think I noticed in that game that I'm actually kind of proud of if I'm right about this.
No, we'll see.
We'll see. Jason's ideas are typically bad, but we noticed the very quick rotates coming from Epsilon.
Yes.
But I think I figured out exactly how they're doing it. And it should be pretty common knowledge just for all the other teams, but I think they keep track of who's alive so damn well. Keep that number in their head. They realize, okay, we killed 2, we know there's 3 up. And then the information, like we saw David 2K up towards that north side, outside of A towards the west side, he saw 2 there when they already had 3 down. And he immediately made the call, and then Horik immediately ran towards A, realizing that there's no one there. He didn't play it slow, went straight in there, and it kept the 2-1 hold. And I think that's what they're doing so damn well, is they keep track of that number. And with that, they can get these back caps so damn quickly and keep that advantage.
Yeah, it's a numbers game with Epsilon, it seems, on occasion, where they'll play the smart game rather than the flashy game. They won't play for the the big kills, which maybe they used to a little bit, with Mayak in the squad and such. But now they do play a smart game of Battlefield. Right. They'll weigh up their options. What's the better side to hit? And they generally pick right. Now, Zavod is a little less scrappy than others. So you look at maybe Storm or maybe Railway. A little bit more, scrappy, a little bit more in your face, a little bit harder to do those nice clean rotates.
Right.
But Epsilon on a map like this gets to do that. And they can do the same pretty much on Locker now that the site, for example, C is very much an outward one. They can do the same there. So this time around, the Russian side will be Epsilon and PyRo will be on the US team. Now, look at it this way. If PyRo drop below 45 tickets, they already lose out on the first map, and they go in to face Epsilon on their choice, which is not something you want. You definitely want to be picking up your map, no matter which team you're up against. You've got to get off to that good start and get it in the bag, because then you can even look at it and go, well, we did well on our map. We lost out on the second, but it was a close game. We've got the third. But a very close game coming out anyway, and PyRo are going to have to do something pretty good off the bat here and really try and make the challenge down. I'm curious to see how many people Epsilon commit straight over towards B. They normally go for a bit of a take on towards C as well, sending a lot of players through this kind of more middle section than straight out swinging towards B.
Right now, they will go for that 2-2-1 kind of split here, and they're going to be met up with 3 people at B. They're going to be met only 2 in the middle here. As we've seen Haxus, well, he will be the first casualty of the game here, and it looks like they might be able to push into this one as they are capping over B, or at least maintain it for a little bit longer with the help of Duke, but he just backs out a little bit, maybe looking for a kill or 2, and Horik immediately rushes in towards the backside of C, spots the man out, gets the kill, no, he doesn't get the revive, unfortunately, but that will put the pressure on. They will have A and C, and now they're forcing PyRo to play their own game, and that's a deadly game to play.
It is, and actually them not reinforcing this mid area makes me think they're going to go straight out towards B here if they wait for Epsilon to start taking over A, but they are being caught up in mid at the moment. They cannot break out just as cleanly as before. They've actually lost a lot of their players, and PyRo are doing the work they need to. Benny picking up the kills. Melisium does get caught out by David, but this 2-1 hold is a great spot, and actually Marzu taking the longer road may leave C quite vulnerable to a triple cap coming out from PyRo.
Yeah, this is actually very dangerous here, but a fantastic job by PyRo to just adapt to what happened in that first half and into the second one here as we're seeing Nico drop in, picks up 1, looks for the second, but he will actually pick it up, but he also gets taken out in the end with a 1-for-1 trade there, and they'll get the revive as well, so that will be C-capped over. That will be a try cap if they can hold on to B here, so let's tag along with Flasher, see his action as he does get the kill on a David, and we'll be looking for that second one, but he'll be taken down, but he has stalled them long enough, and he has given PyRo a very strong AC hold here, and he gives them time to set up more importantly.
It's given them a good lead overall. Those tickets are looking very nice for them, but Duke is eyeing up this side. He knows his player's down here. That nade coming back towards him will give away the game, but Flash has been on point. He's been picking up these kills and doing the work for his side, but David is in trouble. He's not in the best spot to challenge out players down below. That's pretty why he's backing away here and maybe looking for another option. Marzu, with a good position, is going to be met by Ikaho in the end here over by A, so not such a clean take, and already B has some pressure, so PyRo almost playing an Epsilon game here with these very fast, clean rotates between the sites and between the areas. So they'll use C as their anchor, almost as their anchor site, and rotate around the map off the back of that. So Marzu should be picking up on A. He did win the 1v1 up against Benny. And Nico not too far away, but he doesn't need to push in yet. He's there to reinforce whichever site needs it the most.
Well, they need to cap A right now because they're just sitting there with the 2-0 hold. And looks like they did win out on B for a little bit here as they get a couple of revives in for David. And they will have a 2-2 hold here. They have neutralized, so things are on even grounds. And they seem to win out this battle as David was able to pick up a couple of kills right there. That grenade coming in very huge for him. And they will maintain the hold here. So they have the 2-1. And now this is the scary part. Is that PyRo, they got rid of that 2-1 hold that Epsilon had very quickly. But if you give Epsilon time to set up, give them time to get the people in the right spots to gather this information, that's when things become very difficult. But Melisium playing it very smart right there. It picks up the man crossing from outside. And this could potentially give them back control of B here. But if you look at the overview, just look how crazy everyone is. Look where out of position everyone is.
Yeah, and Melisium's respawn then was just so it put it out of the expected place. So, as you said, when Epsilon gets set up, they are a very dangerous team. But if you keep those respawns coming in that they don't expect from players or positions they don't necessarily think will happen, that's when you can make the difference. Hence why B was in challengers in a little bit of a troublesome state. But still, Epsilon now will have to deal with the threat that is PyRo. But those nades landing right back at their feet is not going to help. Hexus is in trouble. He's been taken low. Doesn't get the revive in the end either. Finally, his teammate is back up. But Benny going straight in. He's not waiting around. And actually, C is being turned over here. Backup arriving from Asterix, leaving B completely vulnerable. He's going to have to go back. Asterix has to run back here. They cannot challenge this one out. And a very well played capture coming over from PyRo. But Marzu with a double kill, denying the rotate off of C towards B, giving a little bit of hope here for Epsilon to recoup and rethink things. The game is getting closer, but it is still in favor to PyRo.
Yes, it is. And that last little engage that we saw too is that Flasher was sitting back at A holding on to it, but Epsilon, if the rotate worked that they had, they sent one man, I don't know who it was, but he got killed in the end, they still would have maintained their 2-1. But because he was able to pick up that 1v1 fight, they get the 2v1, they get control and the pace of this game here. But right now, they're losing on B, or on C, sorry, as you see, and even B. And it looks like Epsilon might be able to get a 2-1, but the respawn's coming in. Benny does pick up the big kill and does open things up to maintain this. And right now, we do have a very weird respawn coming from Ikaho towards the northwest side. As he has this opportunity to back cap and give them all this control here, or at least give them all this information.
Yeah, and for once, Epsilon have a complete open A side, but he's not actually, no one's actually using it. They're so blinkered towards picking up B. They've lost out on, they're picking up C. They've lost out on B, and they didn't have the players ready to pick up A. And by the time they now come around to doing it with Marzu, Benny is there to challenge. David is waiting for the respawns, but he's been spotted. They can't take that option anymore. They've gone back towards A. And look at the ticket deficit already, 60 to 100. This is PyRo playing a better game of what Epsilon normally do. Epsilon got a little bit blinkered then. They completely forgot that A even existed to an extent. Asterix finally breaks down the player in mid, taking out Flashor, but there's immediately one there to reply. Melisium goes for the challenge, gets denied it, but they're being slow, they're being held up, allowing players like Hexus and Benny to come around the back and get the back cap onto them.
All right, so A and C both being traded over to the other side. And Epsilon, as you can see, down to 49 tickets already. They need to drop PyRo below 45 to secure the first map, but PyRo just, I don't know, we're playing so damn solid. It seems like they finally have the read on Epsilon. They finally figured out how they're going to play. And they're being a little bit more aggressive and obviously picking up these kills for a B. Going to be, it looks like, capped over for Epsilon here, though there's still 2 men on that flag. And PyRo, I want to know, what's their next move? And just as I say that, I see them already sending 3 men towards C here. And it looks like the only man defending it is going to be Horik. And he will be taken out as well as Asterix, actually. So the respawn coming in, but he gets taken down. And the last man of the squad is going to be Duke here. And they are losing tickets left and right. That's a full squad wipe coming in. They do get a spawn over towards A, but this is going to be a tri-cap.
Yeah, and that's very surprising to see. I think PyRo's a great side, but they are literally outplaying Epsilon at their own game, which is a very rare thing.
Well, look at this. They're not even keeping anyone in C. They're keeping them outside of C. And they're keeping 1 or 2 in middle just to see them going from underpass or crossing from the above ground kind of section. And that stops them from getting naded. It gets them in positions that they can't really get entry fragged on. And well, right now, Epsilon, they finally pick up the kills they need, and it looks like they're going to rush in onto C here. Even Asterix kind of decide to maybe go for B here in the meantime, but they're not able to get the flag cap the flag over just yet. They're still struggling to get in there.
Yeah, and you can see where they got pincered right there. 3 players went down in pretty much the same spot. No one could break through, and is left Asterix out on a limb, finally joined by Horik down below, but it's in bits and pieces. Scrappy play from Epsilon. Very rare you get to see this, but this is exactly what's happening. So A is now being backcapped again. They've been so slowed down and focused towards this one site. They've lost out on this one, and they're 13 tickets away from losing out on the first map. Horak is coming back over towards B, but this might be too little too late. And I think PyRo have done just about enough, playing Epsilon in their own game, but just a little bit better, to win this map.
They might have. I mean, they only have 10 more tickets to really work with here, and they're so close. They can probably taste the victory of this first map. But right now, we can see C going to be contested here. Hexus running straight in. He will have 3 men around him, and he will pick up 1, but he will be dropped right after. And we will get the revives coming in as well. So actually, Epsilon, they could honestly come back right now if they can just stay alive, if they can hold on to these 2 flags, if they can win out on these duels. And right now, we're not really seeing it go their favor, unfortunately, as we do see a couple of men dropping left and right. Now, Shakes he will actually get taken down right there. He didn't pick up the kill in the 1v1, even having the jump on him, and you're seeing Epsilon almost get completely wiped out. This PyRo picking up that first map.
Yeah, and even with Duke fighting with everything he has here, they've been outplayed, outgunned, and outdone. And the respawns, they can't even afford them. They're down to 4 tickets. They have only 1 site. Those tickets are going to just fall away from them through their fingertips. And this is pretty much it. 73 ticket lead there in the end, coming out for PyRo. So damn well played by them on the second half. And they literally beat Epsilon at their own game. They were faster on the rotates. They were smarter in their play, and it just paid off perfectly. I'm very surprised seeing that. You know, PyRo played very well, but it's not a common sight to see Epsilon being outdone at their own style of gameplay.
Very true. I mean, Elysium going 18-9, stepping up for his team really helped out. But if you look at the rest, I mean, Flasher 12-6. The thing is, what I want to point out key about that score, it's not amazing. It's obviously, you know, it's good for a team, but he wasn't playing the guy picking up the kills. He wasn't playing the assault guy. He was playing the guy that sit back and stop the rotates. And the fact that he has more kills than deaths right there shows he's winning out on those back caps constantly. And that shut Epsilon down so well. And
this is a genuine thing. Could you imagine that Epsilon don't make it out of this group? You know, we gave this as an easy one. It's early. But then we look back to how PyRo played on the map just coming up. They were very strong on it as well. And they played this similar game style against the other opponents, and it was quite one-sided. I think we can all agree on that. But if they can replicate what they just did, if they can very quickly understand how Epsilon want to play it, they could become a real threat here to Epsilon very early on and very quickly. And the one thing is that Epsilon's going to play this different, guaranteed, against versus Exactly, because they will have that one man rotating out, capping C over and over. They won't leave it out there to rot. They will definitely try to cap it over and over. And, you know, one thing that kind of is coming to mind right now is that PyRo, remember last season, they 16th place, didn't really impress us in the cups at all. Come into the groups and just amaze everyone. They wowed, placing first coming out of it. They already played well, or extremely well coming through all these cups into the season. I wonder how good they're going to be now in groups, because if they could beat Epsilon here, they will have qualified into the offline finals, and Epsilon will be fighting for their life. Yeah. So surprise results already. I'd like to say this is something that could have happened, but seeing Epsilon lose isn't something we expect to see. It really, really isn't. So I think they are just getting themselves in the server at the moment. I don't think everyone's in just yet. Epsilon only having 4 players with them at the moment, so hopefully their 5th will rejoin.
Just don't be Mayak. It's kind of a joke because they did that in groups last time. Because they lost, and then they brought in Mayak to get out of groups.
Yep.
If they get qualified out of groups without him, I will drop that forever. But that's something that's definitely there.
Yeah, it was a sticking point. Didn't they actually stop using him because he was too young to play in the offline finals?
Exactly. And they wanted to qualify through groups without him to see how well they could do offline, and
they had to drag him back in.
Yeah.
Okay, so well, let's hope they can do this. They're a very talented team. I don't think anyone's going to doubt that. They finished first in the season, so it's stupid to say, oh, they're not that good. They're just a bit of a fluke. No, they are actually very good. They don't have to depend on one player. They're very talented.
Well, let's just say this. Cup 1, 0-2 versus Fnatic in the finals. Okay, they got 2nd place. Cup 2, 1st place beating Fnatic 2-1. Cup 3, 1st place beating Meech Makers 2-0.
Yep.
4th cup, 2-0 against Fnatic, 1st place again. So they won 3 cups out of the 4, and they placed 2nd in the one they didn't win.
And they can play so well. I don't think any of us should be doubting that. If you are, then maybe you need to watch back those VODs and see exactly why they're here. But they just got outplayed on their own kind of game style, and once they lost that initial control, they just never got it back. They were always trying to play it, but then they got a little bit blinkered, or they just kind of forgot what they were doing in their own kind of way, and it was very surprising to watch. But I think we can jump in game and kind of go through what we can expect to see a little bit here, because we are waiting on the 5th of Epsilon to come back to us. So once he's back.
Too bad they're not doing like the great Robot Wars on top of that
oh,
platform.
If only they were. I'd be so damn happy. But
you had such a good time when that was happening.
Oh, it was perfect. And actually, it was Dignitas who had a Robot Wars showdown on here. and the losers got flung off the edge. It was magical. It really made my day. But as I said, so we can kind of go through what we can expect here from the very offset and what you can expect from most games and what's kind of changed between the seasons. So let's look back to Season 1, how this generally went down. We can kind of take you through how it works. So, for example, if we saw the Russian side, who generally spawned back here, facing off against the US side, who spawned back here, you generally see the Russian team taking their way around this section. So they spawn up in A. They'll send, 1 or 2 men back around this side. And if you give them the nod that we're ready, that'd be really good. Thank you.
I could. I was not alt-tabbed looking at...
No, you weren't. You'd never do that. But you generally see the player with a star H coming up back right here and just kind of providing cover towards C and then obviously pushing down towards the end and picking it up. In the meantime, you'd have the rest of the team pushing through, maybe setting up a nice hold in mid to deny anyone an easy path around. They'd send 2 around this kind of side anyway, so 1 would go out towards the site, 1 would hold maybe around here or even a little bit further forward and create this nice little pincer crossfire, allowing no one to really get pushed. So that would give you C, and you'd also get A off the bat. So that would be the 2-to-1 hold you generally see, and then the US side would have to work their way back in, however they may, whether it be a flat-out challenge or not. Are you okay there, Jason?
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. Well done, Pansy.
I'm feeling where you're reading Twitch chat.
I was in game, as you could see, telling the admins that we're ready to go. But now we're getting underway here with our second map, this best of 3 between Epsilon and PyRo. Remember, this is the winners finals, so winner of this game will have claimed their spot into the offline finals to if you join quite a few good teams there. I believe we have Fnatic, and I'm trying to remember the second team. It's going to be Planet Key Dynamics, if I remember correctly.
And just so people know, on the Russian side, it will be PyRo, and Epsilon will be on the US side. So previously, we'd have seen PyRo picking up the 2-to-1 hold, but these days, we're having to see the Russian side actually going for a head-on kind of face check towards B around these corridors up above. So I'll be very interested to see how this one plays out. At the moment, PyRo do lead 1-0. But this is Epsilon's map. So if there's any time to do it, it will be right now. And we are just about ready to get into game. And I want to see very early on how these guys do this. So 3-man split through A. They're going to pick up the site. I'm curious to see if Hex splits down here and covers mid. He's going to do so. And Flashwall's going to be actually going outside this time. I want to see what his main weapon is because it's quite rare. He's actually on the Ace-23, so not a great gun at long range. And you're going to see that in effect. Horic can just play around it. So C will be actually picked up by the US side. And in the meantime, Asterix and co holding down mid. The nades, however, are proving to be a bit of a problem. They might need to switch up a little bit here.
One thing we did see in the beginning of that game for Epsilon, actually, Asterix held his spawn the entire time until he needed to spawn somewhere to back someone up or maybe make a push somewhere. As we're seeing Epsilon go straight for this A flag here. They're going to actually have a try cap for a little bit here as C is going to be capped over for PyRo in the meantime. But right now, PyRo have capped over B, have gotten the 2-to-1. And they are starting to look strong already, just in the get-go. They're picking up the kills as well here, as you're going to see Duke. Well, he'll actually prove me wrong. They're picking up the 1 towards the backside of B, but he's got to pick up way more than that here, and he will be dropped here. And right now, the rest of the spawns coming in for Epsilon are over towards this A flag.
And this is really not a good position to hold, though. PyRo don't have any players really in position to do much on C, and I'm surprised they committed 2 respawns here rather than going straight in for the A challenge. They've got Ico in a good spot, so I don't know. Maybe they're more confident going out for C, but Ico could have done with some backup. As you can see, he's just been mowed down right there. But he did get at least 1 player down in exchange, so A was more vulnerable than C, and an A-B hold is great. We saw in the last game, how you can pinch people towards just that outside area and leave them there. But anyway, it has been seen PyRo will be losing out on C for now. Melicium is out there, finally backed up by Flash, but they do have players in position, such as Asterix, to lay down the covering fire to deny a push on towards C. So that's going to be claimed over. So a 2-to-1 hold now, finally being pushed back by PyRo, but it has cost them a lot of tickets. They had a good solid lead, which has been chipped away a little bit. But still, in the end, 1 over, and PyRo will be walking away with the 2-to-1 hold.
But one thing that was really kind of sketchy about that push is that PyRo sent 4 people outside. 4 people for C. You never really see that anymore because it's just not worth it. In the end, you can send those 4 obviously towards A here. But one thing is that after that last map, Epsilon kind of just said, hey, they had 2 people there. They could have pushed. They could have went for B, but they were playing a little bit more cautious. And I don't know if that's just a result for them losing, obviously, on Zavod, or if that's their playstyle on this map.
It might very well be, but Epsilon have bullied them off of C now, and well, they're going to be picking this one up. They've got support in the form of Horic, and Melicium trying to be the one player to split through towards A has actually got stopped in its tracks. So PyRo pretty much got almost squad wiped then, and you can see the control they've lost. They have no players holding through mid, so allowing the likes of Duke and Horic to just lock down this entire area and going to make it very hard for C to be a vulnerable site. And I think we're going to find out now if PyRo can just bully away through. They're going to be funneled into this almost, and just about dodging the bullets coming from the side, but the nades are going to hurt them quite severely. Echo stays alive for now, but you can see the force of just having these two players creating the crossfire. You've seen that Melicium's gone down, Echo and Flash all push around the side, you get Hexes. That is the danger of leaving Epsilon to get set up like this and going for C rather than trying to bully your way through to A using those lower tunnels. And it's going to happen time and time again unless they can find a new way through. And actually, Duke's switching something up here, actually. He's maybe trying to predict an all-in push through these tunnels by supporting here, or just going for a little bit of a walk around, try and spot out the players, and maybe try and tease them and toy them into pushing down this corridor while allowing the likes of Horek to pick up the kills from the outside.
Yeah, Epsilon haven't lost a man in the past 30 to 45 seconds. No one's died. And that's because of that crossfire like you're mentioning. They are just picking up the kills. That's going to be, I think, 6, 7 kills straight that they've gotten now. And they are showing no signs to stop it. We're seeing a little bit of a difference happen, though. As you can see, Horek still watching on middle, but it's going to be 3 crossing over from the staircase into that A flag. And we will see Melicium trying to lead the charge here, but they're still dying left and right. It seems like Epsilon just have the perfect positions. Finally, a crack in the armor of Epsilon will be in the form of Ikaho here, picking up that first kill, but to penetrate the site now, still, when that respawn will be coming, it's going to be very difficult. Not to mention, if they commit too many people, you're going to have that back cap come in again.
Yeah, but Flash is doing work. He did pick up Marzu in a really hard spot to actually take down. Gets the revive in, but the tickets are getting really low, PyRo. They need to make a move happen pretty damn quickly. As you said, the amount of kills that came in for Epsilon really gifted them a lot of power over this. And they finally bullied them off of A. They've finally picked this one up. But are they in a position to do anything else here? As we are seeing a big push out towards C. They're trying to get themselves out here from the back, from mid. But in the meantime, we have seen the fact that Epsilon have started to kind of control over mid. They've got a couple of players here and there. They're looking to challenge out almost immediately. Marzu coming through and sending Asterix out towards C. That means that maybe they're hedging their bets. They're not going all in for just one site. They want to regain complete control. If they can bully out this side with the 3 players they put there and win out on this 2v2 on this side, they'll be in a perfect position. And Horek, going on the long way around, could get caught out from the back. I think he's going to be. Just about stays alive and goes back in for the challenge, but the nade will land on him. But Epsilon have 1 out on C, and they've still got B to boot. So 2-1 hold again in their favor.
Yeah, they just always seem to turn it around, and I think it's because they're committing so many, they're forcing PyRo to commit so many people into capping one of these flags. Like we saw, time and time again, it was 4 people heading towards the A flag multiple times, but they had the rotate already at C. They had Horek already pushing through towards B when they realized that, when they started to finally lose men, when we saw them drop. And they were able to capitalize off that. They're going to cap B back over. They're going to maintain this hold. They're not set up in the ideal position they want, but it doesn't matter. They're still picking up the kills. They're still being a nuisance here. And as we see, 98 to 68 in tickets, they have already opened up a 30-ticket lead, and they're honestly showing really no signs of stopping at all. We do have a little bit of aggression at Duke here, as you're seeing pushed up. Kind of a nice, actually one-shot the guy right there, 1 click, but he's causing them to stay at A. He's causing them to commit a lot of resources and a lot of people over towards him to kill him, and he's still winning the fights.
Yeah, he's been that pain, and he's held them up enough there. They have lost out on this mid-hold, though. That was him going down. But they're also in a very good spot to try and convert over towards A. But Benny's still alive. Could be waiting for some respawns. Here comes the backup flying in. It's going to be just literally a flat-out face check coming through here. Whoever wins this will walk away with the 2-1. Benny does find Asterix. Melicium still trying to work his way around. But David and Duke with Horek all pushing in together. They bullied them out of this side. Oh, perfect. Work from David then round the side. 2 big kills. Revive as well. Picking up both teammates, and that is just clinically done. They did leave Marzu outside. Oh my word, who's picked up 2 already? This is just perfect stuff from Epsilon. If you ever struggle on this map with your team, watch this back and see how they get set up, because it is literally a masterclass in this game right now. Finally, Horek comes in to support, but did Marzu really need it? I'm not sure. Him and Asterix doing the job, and an AC hold comes into their favor. And
there's something that's so damn important about that last push into A was they had 4 people going for it. 3 of them died, and there's only 1 left, but they got every revive. No one actually died, and they didn't lose any tickets from that. They all went in, in perfect positions, and they got the cleanup. They trust in their teammates. No one died. They only lost 1 ticket in the last, I think, minute right now, as you can see, 87 to 35 in that sense. But they're finally losing on A here, it seems. Duke gonna give his chances to try to hold on to this one here, as he's gonna maybe push it with a little bit of backup, but does get naded down here, so maybe a little bit of life finally coming out of PyRo right now, but they have a lot of tickets to really claw back. They want to have hopes of even coming out ahead here in this half.
Yeah, and already Epsilon looking on the rotate, coming around the back. Asterix reading the play perfectly, but he doesn't get the kills. He gets taken down. PyRo have a good opening here. Benny picking up 2 big kills has given them a gift of this A site, or at least containing the threat for now. And they still have B as well. They've left the likes of Flash out there, like we saw coming in for the opposition when they left, I believe it was Marzu out by C. So they're learning from each other and they're making these adaptations very quickly. But still, the ticket deficit is a big problem for PyRo. They are down a huge amount. They're losing out on B. They're outnumbered on C. They need to get these players into a position they can do something with. Flash has to play passively. Hopefully, Melicium will win out on this one for PyRo's sake, but it's not looking good. And this could be the final real chance here. Because if, let's say, Epsilon do get set up, they will hold it. But PyRo did win out on B, so maybe there's still a little bit of hope left here.
Yeah, we have to hope for them, too, because... You know, we saw, obviously, in the first setup on Zava, or at least the first half, they didn't look that great in the first half. But second half, they came back flying. They looked a completely different team, and I wonder if that's going to happen here, obviously, in the second half right now. But they're still fighting for it. They're only down 29 tickets. There is hope for them to come back. However, they have lost out on B, and they are, unfortunately, not really making the push into C effectively right now, as you're seeing, you know, Benny try to get the revive onto Ikaho. And they will actually get him up, but just to be taken down again right away.
Yeah, Marzu there is the perfect player out there, but every single side now is up for grabs. It looks like Epsilon will be walking away with A. B looks like it could go PyRo's favor with his back spawn. That could really cause trouble. And they haven't actually respawned Asterix in. I can imagine he'll join Horek here to try and provide some support, but actually he went for the random spawn with Marzu. So picks up one. Goes back for more, but those nades take him down. So B did go over towards PyRo in this 2-to-1 hold, but B still being scrapped over. Hex is coming out with a nice two pick up there and a revive to boot. So they have this secured for now, but they've been bullied out by this site. So they need to kind of win this one back through. And actually, oh, big mistake coming out. They've put so many men here, but they're not in the position to make it count. And the support has arrived of Ico. They've gone for a complete squad wipe near on. David was the last man standing because probably he was the guys defending this site. So this 2-to-1 is going to start hurting unless they can kind of get themselves back into this. But if Flash can hold this for a little bit of time...
Oh, no.
It could go really well.
Look at A, look at A. They're flanking in right from the backside. They don't even know they're there. Just they pick up the kills cleanly. They're going to get the hold on A. They do, unfortunately, lose out on B, but they're a step ahead of them right now. They're controlling the pace of this game. They just are maintaining these 2-to-1 holds, and the thing was, they were down 50 points, or 50 tickets, and now it's just about 15. They are doing a fantastic job of really getting back in this game here, and they might even potentially come out this first half with a lead.
Yeah, but look at what Marzu's been allowed to do. He has complete free reign around the back of this A side, and A is now surrounded by Epsilon members. They're going all in for this one. One kill comes in. PyRo not in a good spot to challenge here. They are outnumbered by a long way. Comes out for the challenge, though. Flash denies the pushing around the back, gets a respawn in as well, and Ico does have support. They're turning this around. Look at that scoreboard, and they're picking up on B. PyRo are not out of this just yet. They could pick up this first half if they keep playing this correctly. Benny in a good aggressive spot, goes for the 1D, doesn't quite happen there. Well, the Magnum, should I say.
The one mag.
Yeah, the one mag, but still, the tickets are getting really damn low for Epsilon. They're not winning out on these fights. Duke gets taken down. Flash goes aggressive again. Flash is holding on to this as best he can, buying every single second possible for PyRo. Ico goes on the cleanup mission, but C has been left vulnerable, and I'm not sure if this is enough time for them to turn around. They need to get back towards one of these sites, and they need to do it pretty damn quickly. Yeah,
there's only 2 tickets left on the side of Epsilon here. They will lose on C finally, but if they can pick up the kills, that's all they really need to do. Backspawn's coming in at B, and they're going to come out of this first half with a lead. It'll be, you know, about 10 tickets, but it's a lead nonetheless, and that is amazing considering they were down over 50 tickets at one point in this game, and that really shows the fiber in the team of PyRo. They're doing a fantastic job, and they might even come out first in groups yet again for 2 seasons running.
I can't believe how much of a turnaround that was then from those guys, because they were so out of it. They were bullied so far out of that game. You know, Marzu barely died, 21-6. That is a huge scoreline, but it didn't come down to the kills at the end of the day. It was so much more than that. PyRo played so well, and I've got to point out Flash then. He's on 16-11. It's not a huge score.
Doesn't do justice to what he did.
But holding on to A the way he did was absolutely phenomenal. He went out a little bit more aggressive. You know, Benny eventually did the same, but him going a little bit more aggressively then, picked up the one guy who was flanking around that back pathway almost, and just held them up a little bit, allowing the respawns of Ikaho coming in, getting enough players there to challenge down an A, and that gave them the game pretty much in the end. So well done.
It did, and I mean, I don't want to take it away from them because they did so damn well, but 10 tickets isn't that much.
No, it's not. But the deficit they came back from.
Exactly. They could be down 50, 60 tickets coming in the second half, and obviously 10 with a 10 lead is obviously a lot easier to really win with, and not to mention the morale of the team has to be ridiculous coming into it. I wonder how excited they were and pumped they were in their VOIP, because to come back against that, against the #1 team out of the season, is no easy task. And right now, obviously in the second half here, they will be swapping sides. They've already done it. They've already come back, you know, second half on Zavod. I wonder if they're going to be able to maintain this, and I wonder if they're going to pick up this win. Because to get Epsilon knocked down to the lower, and potentially, I mean, they will be up against the winner of Execreo and Unitas, but potentially knocked out of groups is something that you don't really expect to see when they perform so well this entire season. Definitely
not. So Epsilon will be on the Russian side this time, and PyRo will be on the US side. So off the bat, normally, you see the US side getting that 2-1 hold. This could really prove troublesome for the opponents because, okay, Epsilon are a great team, and they really did have a long, strong hold over this. But if they get a disadvantage to start with and it spirals, PyRo really could do something here. So I'm curious to see how they start this one off and how these guys go about actually challenge this one down, sending just Ikho to really pick up B by himself. The rest of the team setting up through mid, it seems. Benny coming across in the upper side. Hexus as well, sending 2 men outside, but 3 men from Epsilon going straight in for the challenge.
As you can see, it's going to be an advantage for PyRo to get there a little bit quicker, though. They do lose at least 1 man there in the beginning. They start delaying the push here, and this might open up a push onto this A flag. However, they are dropping in middle as well, and not to mention they do clean it up on the outside. So Epsilon coming out strong here, going to get the early 2-1 hold. They will be able to apply the pressure right now.
Yes, but they put so many men outside, they left A vulnerable. And straight away, PyRo looking like they want to get in towards this, but Marzu's nade...
It doesn't look like it was
just
vulnerable.
Not happening.
Wow.
Yeah, vulnerable was the wrong word, apparently, because flying back in, those nades held him up long enough that the players through C could support in mid and pincer the entirety of these guys right here. But did they spread themselves thin on C? No, they didn't. They did just the same work. And Epsilon looking very strong off the offset. But once again, PyRo still have enough time to work out something to make it start happening for them a little bit smoother because, they just got roped into Epsilon's plan then. But once again, how can you predict Marzu's nades are going to just decimate you trying to push in towards A?
I don't think you can, unfortunately, for them. And right now, we do have Epsilon set up the way they want to play. We see Flasher get taken down, but it will be a 1-for-1. And we have 2 men even getting the respawn up towards the top side. So they will try to hold on to C here. With these grenades coming in, that will be Flasher down yet again, so you won't be able to get that revive. But right now, I mean, Epsilon, they're set up like they were in the first half, and that's where they got their 50+ ticket lead. We're having the full middle control, not losing a man in about 1.5 minutes, and picking up, I think it was like 8 or 9 kills. But right now, PyRo, they seem to have figured out how that one works. They picked up the kills. They're going to get on top of C here. And we're going to see Asterix try to do everything he possibly can with that AEK to hold on to C. And he actually will pick up the kill somehow to the guy behind the pillars. So we're going to send another one there here, and struggling a little bit here to get this 2-1 hold. But we saw how they can really turn it on in the later points of the game.
But as you said, that 50-ticket lead is almost back again, but A has been left vulnerable. PyRo finally breaking in. I hate saying that word because last time I did, it was a bit of a bloodbath, but Flash is pushing through, and he's looking good to pick this one up. They've got C, they've got B, and they want A. They're not happy with just 2. They want 3. They want to turn this one on its head. Epsilon just saying, sorry, then screw this. We are going back to B. We're going to try and play this one out because look at that. Asterix tries to go through mid, gets found in the back by Ikaho, and this is unbelievable. Triple cap coming out from PyRo, really bullying their way back in. David finally picking up the kills. They might lose out on A, but they still have a very solid hold on B and C, and the tickets are getting very close together again, 107 to 128. So the worst thing I've got to say now is Epsilon only have 4 players.
Ooh, that is not a good sign, and I believe it's actually going to be Duke who has to reconnect in this one, but
Duke.
That is a little bit unfortunate. PyRo, well, they're going to go for the tri-cap yet again. They're sending one man around the backside. We'll spot him out, but he hasn't picked up the kill just yet. I believe he didn't even get it in the end, and he does get taken down here. But, PyRo, they were kind of going for the same kind of hold that Epsilon was doing with the control of middle, but right now, Epsilon, even with 4 men, have a 2-1 hold.
They do, and Horek's doing damage as well. He's trying to cover mid as best he can, but the sheer numbers game is going to get them in the end, as PyRo have been able to push through here. Ikho has got a chance towards that Infirmary, gets the nade through, the assist comes in, but he does pick up Marzu enough in the end, and here comes the counter from that, the push out towards C. Benny finding the kill with Flash in tow, leaving only B as the standing point here for Epsilon. They're going to be pushed off C, pushed off A, and this is where it starts hurting you when you only have 4 players. They've bought enough time, hopefully, for the 5th player to come back into this, but if it stays this way, it looks like PyRo could be walking away with this one.
They very well could, and I mean, with this AC hold and the way they're set up already, waiting for anyone just to push through is going to be... Well, we saw how it works for Epsilon, and PyRo can obviously do the same thing as we're going to have, who is that? Benny pushing in through the backside, will get taken down eventually, but he's still applying that pressure, he's still forcing those 3 men to sit back, and right now with Epsilon still only 4 men, they can't really push. That's the unfortunate thing. They're going to get caught off from, multiple directions here, and watch Horek. He's going to head outside, or he could head outside, but there's going to be 2 men waiting for him with a crossfire setup. He's not going to get anywhere.
Yeah, pretty much. That's where the numbers game come into play. No matter where you push, you're always going to be at a disadvantage.
Oh, he's back?
And there we go. We do finally have the player back, but in the time he's been missing, the scoreline has now been evened pretty much.
They lost a 50-ticket lead.
Yeah, 50 tickets now gone. PyRo did that by themselves without a 4-player team against them last time. So if PyRo can keep this up, they have the ideal hold here, I feel. Maybe I actually quite like the AB hold these days where you can leave them out to sea, but this is still on paper the best hold to have. So if it's going to turn around, Epsilon are going to have to work for it. But actually, PyRo playing very passively across mid, and I'm not sure if that's going to pay off because it has allowed Epsilon through towards A. Getting Horik in a good position, Marzu not too bad either, and they could make a push out of this.
And they have that one man towards jail, just spotting anyone running through and into that A flag. But they're going to go for a push on the outside here. So they're tagging along with Marzu. We'll spot that man up, but it will be taken down. Actually, it'll be a 1-for-1 trade, and they will get the revive. So this will be taken back for Epsilon here. But they committed 3 people on that outside push, and immediately we see PyRo reading this one and sending 2 men towards B in the meantime.
Yeah, it was a nice little fake play, actually, from one of the players on Epsilon. They ran through the metal detectors several times, making it almost sound like a good more players than were actually there. So maybe PyRo thought, okay, we've got to really lock down A, reinforce ourselves here, and leave C a little bit open. And then they had the bigger push out there. So you saw how that one can played out, but at the moment, it's going to be PyRo's pick up on towards B, leaving A almost open. Swiftly, Hexus is trying to get back through, but already Flash going in for the challenge. He knows there's a player there. He got the tag, and he got the frag as well towards Marzu. So C now should be PyRo. They've got B, and actually, Horik is going straight out for the challenge, so hopefully they can pick this one up, because at the moment, their tickets are getting low. If they drop below 10, they've lost this one.
It's really interesting to see the difference in play style between these two teams, or at least priority of what flags they want, because we remember, PyRo versus Exequeo, C was left to itself. No one really cared about it, but there's so much action we're not see every single time. These teams don't want to go head-to-head. They just want to be out-rotating each other and be able to get those back caps in. But right now, PyRo, they will lose that 2-to-1 hold as they lose out in C here. But look at this one man towards the top left-hand side of your screen. He is sitting on the backside. Ikaho, given the information, he could get the respawns in, but he's just staying alive. And I think he might try to catch up this guy rotating away from C to go for the cap right back off of it.
Well, he's going to try to. I think he's actually going fairly aggressive here. Try and pick this one up for himself, because if he can do this, it could be a triple cap actually coming out for these guys, but he's in trouble now. He's got a player behind him as well. If he wanted to do that, he should have done it a couple of minutes ago. He was waiting for Benny to come around and support, but it doesn't matter. While that's going on, PyRo have got A. They still are managing to hold down B to a fair extent, but the respawn's coming through. Actually, Epsilon going very much towards the outside with 2 players then. Maybe a little bit overestimating what they needed to do, and that could cost them a little bit of a challenge down here, but we'll see. They're splitting themselves up nicely. They've got a good containment on C. Maybe sending Melisium out as bait more than anything. PyRo looking to reclaim this site rather than challenging out on B, as they knew there's a good couple of players there. Eco is going up for the peak. There are players actually waiting just behind those rocks. Oh, that nade did not connect perfectly, actually, and Marzu will stay alive. The battle does rage on, but this could be a triple cap for Epsilon as they send Duke kindly out towards A. Say, all right, guys, you go towards C. You can take that. We'll get the better setup here and put our respawns in where we need them the most.
Oh, look at this. We have 4 people charging straight into A here. We're going to have Flasher coming from the backside. He's come up so big for them, obviously, in the half just prior. And we're going to find out if he's going to do it again here this time. Will we actually... Huh. Well, I wasn't going to say anything about that spot until you went to that third-person view, but... All right, so that's interesting. Not sure if that's legal, but we'll find out from the admins after this game. But anyway, still, Flasher came up so big for him in the first half. And right now, he's trying to do it again.
Well,
I just don't know what to say about that.
That just happened. We're going to ignore that for now because we don't know the response from the admins or what people are going to say, but we're going to carry on because at the end of the day, excuse me, 40 tickets is all that Epsilon have, and they only have 1 site to boot as well. And the questionable man still on your screen there, I'm going to back away from him in his filthy ways and stick on board with Hexus. So they're going to try and hold back the Epsilon team as PyRo looking to come through. They're getting met in mid, and Epsilon actually breaking out towards his C site. And it's going to be Melisium trying to deal with the threat. He takes down 1, but he's got 2 more coming in. Going to be going to try and get a little bit more regen going through. Check that left side. He's got the kill towards Asterix as well. He's been holding this back by a 1-man mission. Melisium, what a play towards outside. 27 tickets left. And it's just Hexus holding towards A. This could be the final push now for Epsilon. Duke comes around the side, checks towards A. He knows they're here. He knows where they are. He's going to be trying to get the heals in. Push comes through now. Can they make this their final stand?
Oh,
Hexus
no.
finds the kills, but they've been mowed down in the end. And actually, PyRo walk away with this one, surely, to boot with 18 tickets left towards the opposition. 7 overall, as 10 is that threshold. Oh, Melisium making this hurt. And can you believe it? This could be Epsilon bowing out in this tournament.
Well, that is unfortunate for them, but right now, I have to look forward to, obviously, the next game coming up where they will play against the loser of Execray on Unitas to kind of stay alive and get their second chance at getting through. But PyRo again, 2 seasons in a row.
Can you believe it?
Gonna get through first place in groups.
Very well played. I'm hoping it's not too shadowed by what we saw at the end then. But still, a brilliant game overall, and one position will not win you a game, I hope. Maybe. But still, they played very well to not retract away from everything else they've done. They did play brilliantly then, and actually a very smart game, considering they just beat Epsilon on their own map. Epsilon did have 4 players. You want to look at it that way. It's quite hard to read into it. But nevertheless, they walk away with that first spot. So well done to them. They've done it pretty much twice in a row almost. So PyRo are a team who've kind of claimed their title as a top-tier contender.
And the big upsetter, too, not to mention. I mean,
they
did it last time in the season. Yep. I think they beat against the Authority, and I'm trying to think of the second team was. Maybe it was ESC they overcame. But just do it again. Beat Epsilon to qualify through first, and I think it affects their seeding as well coming into the actual playoffs. But the real question is, can they repeat the performance from last season? They placed second, obviously losing to Meteor Makers in the finals.
Yeah.
I wonder if they can do it again.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know what to expect anymore. There's a lot of things up in the air at the moment, and with the way they played that, they're certainly a contending team. So I can't wait to see how they play later on. And we still got another game coming up today.
Yes, we do. So, guys, we're going to go a quick little break. But when we come back, we're going to see Epsilon playing against the winner of Execray on Unitas. And we're going to find out who our second team is coming in through from Group B. So, guys, we'll see you in a few minutes. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see you in a few
Nailed it.
Save me, Lord. Save me.
Guys, we'll be back in 5. Do stay tuned. There's another game on the way.
Good job.